What's going on, y'all? Welcome back to basketball. I figure it's a good time in the NBA preseason to start ranking teams on how fun they are to watch. Obviously, this is a completely subjective thing. We all have our favorite teams and our least favorite teams, but I'm just letting you guys know who I think are the most fun teams to watch in the NBA this season. So hey, make sure you guys like, subscribe, and comment. I've responded to every single comment on my YouTube channel up to this point, and I intend to keep on doing so. All right. Let's get into it. Also, a quick plug to come join the Discord. We are talking hoops every single day on here. I'm telling you, the people on here do not miss a beat. They're putting out tweets like Woj's. We're having a lot of fun. I think it's a great time. Link, as always, to join is in the description. But anyway, that brings us here to Tier Maker. This is always a fun way to help visualize all of this stuff. I've got these teams in like no particular order here. I literally just hit like reset on this thing, and I figure we can just start playing with it. But I want to preface this, right? I don't hate any NBA team. I promise you I don't. I know some people try to say that sometimes on the internet, and I don't take any personal offense to that, but I just want it to be clear so that I can timestamp you if you do say it, because I really do like doing that. I don't hate any of these teams. It's more so just like, these are the teams I really, really like to watch, and these are the ones that are hard to watch because I'm going to be looking at it the whole time being like, what are y'all doing out there? And that's why I have the categories I have. I have must-watch games like, hey, I would like to watch every single game of this team this season. Entertaining, like, yeah, this is going to be some fun stuff. A solid watch, you guys can understand it's in the middle, right? I have it's basketball, like, okay, there's no other teams on. It's a weird little, like, Wednesday night or something like that. Is Wednesday? No, Wednesday's not when they play the in-season tournament games this year, is it? But, you know, it's basketball, right? It's Wednesday night that no one else is on. And then what are they doing? Don't be surprised if this list doesn't skew like a parabola or like a bell curve, I should say, like meaning there's a couple teams up top, a couple on bottom, and then like a lot in the middle. I wouldn't be surprised if mine skews a little bit more towards these top ones, just because like I like watching basketball at the end of the day. And one of the cool things about the NBA is that there's so many good players on like every team nowadays that it's usually pretty entertaining no matter who it is. But regardless, let's jump into it. First team up, again in no particular order, we have the Milwaukee Bucks. I think this is going to be an interesting season, right? Like the first thing I think about is they have Giannis and they have Dame. That makes them at least entertaining, right? At least entertaining. They've got a lot of other players I like. I love watching Bobby Portis, right? The thing that keeps them from being like must watch, in my opinion, is like, okay, like what are we gonna see from them like X's and O's wise? Because I enjoy that kind of stuff, right? I enjoy the finer details of things. Luckily, they have a lot of players that are very detail oriented. Brooke Lopez, Bobby Portis, Chris Middleton, right? I don't know. I think it should be a fun season because of that. And again, like Giannis and Dame are just must watch TV. You never know when Dame's gonna go Dame time and just start going off. Giannis is a master highlight reel guy. So I think it's going to be fun. They have a couple young players that I'm interested in, and I don't know. I think they should be at least entertaining. The Brooklyn Nets. Okay, the Brooklyn Nets. What do I want to do with the Brooklyn Nets? The Brooklyn Nets are in this weird situation where they don't have any young players that I'm particularly all that interested in. I have to be very careful with how I say these things because I know some Nets fans are like, oh, like Noah Wilson or something like that, or I don't know. I'm not too like keen on that stuff. I'm just not like they don't have any young players I'm all that interested in. I think they're gonna play like solid basketball, but I think they're gonna be pretty bad. They feel like they're in one of these kind of odd states. They might. I feel bad because like the category doesn't fit like what they are. I almost need a different category for the Brooklyn Nets. Whoa, where did that come from? Look at that. It's the Brooklyn Nets. They fit in the Brooklyn Nets category. Anyway, on to the New York Knicks. This feels like must watch. I'm not gonna lie. There's a part of me that like when they traded DiVincenzo wanted to move them down to entertaining because I wanted team friendship. I wanted the Villanova Knicks to really exist, and they traded DiVincenzo, which is unfortunate, but this is still a loaded team coming into this season. Like, this roster's fun to watch. Thibs has them playing hard every single night, right? This feels like a must-watch team, and plus it's New York, right? You know, the Garden gets rocking and everything. I'm a Bulls fan for those new viewers, so I'm not being, like, biased in any way. I promise you I'll be the first one to criticize my own favorite team and everything, but in terms of watchability, man, and, like, fan bases, man, when New York is hopping, it's hopping, so I can't wait to watch it. I can't wait to see what they do with Cat and everything. It sounds like Mitch Rob's going to be out for a while, which is unfortunate. I wouldn't be surprised if he gets moved because of it in some sort of capacity, but this team's going to be must watch. The Toronto Raptors. Toronto Raptors fans are not going to like the direction I'm wanting to go with this. So the Raptors are an interesting team because of the fact that like their core three players were so effective last year. Who are their core three players? Scotty Barnes, RJ Barrett, Emmanuel Quickley, right? When those three were on the court together, really good things happened for them. And, you know, they kind of went into this like mini rebuild. Like their GM has already been like, yep, we're rebuilding right now. They kind of did more of a retooling and like a mini rebuild slash reset. They're like, okay, what can we do with this young core? I struggle to see Scotty Barnes ascending to the level of stardom that can make having the rest of these guys on the team being the supporting players worth it. I think Scotty Barnes is a very good player. I just don't think he's ever going to be one of those like top tier players. And I know Raptors fans like, relax, okay? I like Scotty a lot, and I'm curious to see his development. I already like that in the preseason they've been giving him the ball like a lot more to start off like possessions and stuff. So we're trying to get him up to like higher numbers in that sense in terms of like initiating offense and everything. So I think I'm going to put Toronto here. Like, I don't feel like I'm seeing any, like, crazy basketball being played. I don't think they're going to be all that great this year. I don't think they'll be bad. Like, I think they'll be solid, but their bench is pretty rough to watch and stuff, so I don't know. That's where I think they're going to fall for now. Moving on to the Utah Jazz. The Utah Jazz kind of got me in a similar vibe right now. Like, first, they don't have, like, a rookie that I'm, like, all that curious in. Like, Cody Williams, pretty bleh in terms of him. I think he's going to take a while to get going in the NBA. Collier's kind of a long-term bet. Filipowski, I can't imagine he's getting a ton of burn early. So that leaves me with Lauri Markkanen, who I really like watching, and like a young point guard in Keontae George, who's cool. I'm not all that thrilled about him yet, so I'm going to put them in the like, it's basketball. Like, you know that both these teams are going to play like solid basketball, both at any time, so that's good, right? Like, they've got strong coaches that I think are going to keep them disciplined, and you know what? That's fine. That's fine. The Houston Rockets. Ooh, they have to be. I feel like they have to be at least an entertaining, right? At nothing else, they're gonna play really fast, and it's a young group of guys, and they do have some young guys that are like actually pretty smart basketball players. Like I think Jabari Smith's really smart. I think Amen Thompson has like A+ IQ. Really like watching him. If Jalen Green is gonna start to play smarter basketball, and like I'm again small preseason sample. I don't think preseason's the worst way to like judge people. Like in like football, it seems like it's like a complete different game, and I don't know football like that, but in basketball, like they're actually like running rotations for the most part and stuff like that, and you get to see some of their offense and some of the habits that guys have. So I feel like in the little bit of preseason I've seen, Jalen Green has been making better decisions. Like, he's not just like running at the rim like he used to. It seems a little more calculated and stuff, but like all that athleticism and everything on the team, I feel like it goes in entertaining for that reason. Like, I don't think they're going to be that good. But nonetheless, I think they're going to be super entertaining. Guys like Cam Whitmore, we'll see if Reed Shepherd gets on the court much and how much he gets going this year. And by the way, I'm going to do a whole video talking about the rookies and my early impressions of them after watching them in preseason and everything. But that's where I've got the Rockets. Moving on to the New Orleans Pelicans. Oh my God, they really just don't have a center. They're really just like, we're going with Herb Jones this year. What actually inspired me to make this video was a comment that somebody made in the Discord. Again, go join the Discord, link in the description. Someone said they have to be one of the most watchable teams this year with Herb at center, and I was like, I don't know if that's what makes them watchable. And I think it was somewhat sarcastic, but man, that's rough. It's such a disservice to Herb Jones, and like Tice is going to get some minutes there. We'll see if Missy does. I think Missy's going to take a little bit to kind of get going, but maybe a solid like 10-12 minute guy if you really need him to be early on. But man, it's going to be something. It's going to be something. Maybe they'll get up and down the court a bunch. Like, I do like a lot of the players on this team. Jordan Hawkins is really fun for me to watch. I'm actually not big on watching like DeJounte Murray play. Like, I like him a lot as a player, but he's not the most fun player for me to watch. Like, he's kind of just like one of those like zone hunters, and he's not the most effective in the NBA at doing it. So I don't know, it's a little bit to me, but Zion's like must watch. So I kind of want to put them in like the solid watch category, and I'm kind of building a bell curve as of right now. We'll see if solid watch builds up a little bit more, but no, I want to put them in solid watch. Like, Zion keeps them high, and like if they get a center and they can kind of go back to letting like Herb be on the perimeter and like playing Trey Murphy and stuff like that, we'll see if they trade Brandon Ingram. I'll put them in solid watch for now. The Lakers. Is it wrong that I kind of just don't care to watch the Lakers at this point? Like, I love like just watching LeBron at this point, right? Like it's cool. Like I'm not all that curious to see what like JJ Redick's going to do. I feel like I have a really good idea as to what he's going to do as a coach. I'm not saying he's going to be a bad coach whatsoever. I just like I know the analytical types and everything and what they're going to run, and I'm not saying that's a bad thing. Like I mean that's kind of how I attack things like offensively and stuff if I'm drawing up game plans, but it's just like their roster like doesn't excite me that much. Like I don't feel like they really let D'Lo really do his thing too often. He had a really good season last year, but I don't feel like they let him do it enough. We'll see about Reeves. Like Hachimura, I don't feel like gets to play the way he wants to play. AD's great, not the most entertaining person for me to watch, but phenomenal player. Obviously, same to LeBron. I don't. They don't have like a ton of young guys I'm super curious about. We'll see how Connect is this year. So I think I'm going to put them in the it's basketball category, and I feel that just feels wrong. I'm not going to blame you if you get in the comments and you're like, how are the Lakers at least not like a solid watch or something like that? I don't know. It just kind of, I don't know. It feels like they're not going anywhere, and that makes it hard for me. And then we get to my favorite team, the Chicago Bulls. Oh, what to do with the Bulls? What to do with the Bulls? They're a team full of point guards that probably aren't going to win a ton of games this year, but they've still got some good players. Like Zach LaVine can get really hot. That's cool. Their young players don't interest me personally a ton. Like, I'll be curious to see how Buzelis develops this year. Like, Kobe White can get going. Sometimes he's just chucking shots, though. Like, Vucevic is very standard and like the way he plays. Like, I'm curious personally to see Josh Giddey. I'm really excited to have Josh Giddey on the team this year. I liked that trade personally. I missed that Javonte Green's not on the team. He was like my favorite player on the team, so that's kind of a bummer that he's gone. But I feel like in fairness, like it's gonna be an it's basketball team. Like it's my favorite team, so I'm gonna watch them like as much as possible until it gets too hard. Like here's the thing y'all gotta know about me, right? Like I can't watch every game. I watch a lot of film, and I mean a lot of film, but I don't have time to watch everything. Like, because as soon as like the college season goes, for those of you that don't know, I run a basketball analytics company, and I supply over like 35 like division I shouldn't say 35 plus Division 1 teams. It's more so like 20 plus Division 1 teams, like 20 something Division 2s and like a handful of D3s. And then I've got some like foreign teams that I help and one NBA team that I help right now. So like sometimes I just don't have time to watch like all the NBA film that I'd like to, even though I like watching NBA film more than college film. But look, sometimes I can't just watch every Bulls game. There's other teams that I'd rather watch that are more interesting to me. So that's what it is. Bulls don't run a very interesting system either. I mean, Billy Donovan just kind of lets people play, and that's why people tend to like Billy Donovan a lot, but is what it is. Minnesota Timberwolves, that feels like it's going to be... am I excited to watch the Timberwolves as I am the Knicks? All right, it's going to float around here while I think about it. So, like, Anthony Edwards is must-watch television, so does that... Okay, yeah, no, that Anthony Edwards alone puts him in must-watch. I also live in Minneapolis, so, like, I really want, like, them to do well. It's fun to see the city excited, all the fans excited. I have no gripe with Minnesota fans whatsoever, even though the tend to be rivalries in sports between Chicago and Minnesota, right? But... no, Ants must watch television. I was bummed about the Cat trade. Totally get why it happened, but it's still a bummer for me in this group. I love Terrence Shannon. I think Dillingham's going to be fun for this team. I think he's going to struggle at points this season, or a lot of points this season, but I still think it was a really good pick by them. I don't know. They got a lot of players that I like on this team. Like, I love Naz Reid. Dude's like a folk hero, so shout out to them. The Portland Trailblazers. Okay, so I watched the Portland Trailblazers. Like, I was breaking down their film from one of their preseason games. Was it their first one? I think it was, yeah, because it was the first time I'd seen, like, Klingon really get on the court. This is my first team that's going in the what are they doing. Anthony Simons didn't play, neither did Shaden Sharp, but oh my gosh, I already hate watching this team. Like, it hurts. Seeing Scoot Henderson play in a pick and roll with DeAndre Ayton, I don't think I can make it through another season of watching Scoot Henderson go through that. DeAndre Ayton goes nowhere after he rolls. Scoot, as soon as he tries to come over the screen, the whole defense, they were playing the Clippers, just collapse in, and there's no shooters to pass it out to whatsoever. It's just like, oh my god, what are we doing? There was like a couple times where like Scoot like got downhill or whatever, and like Ayton didn't roll completely, and he like throws the ball up, and Ayton's just like, I didn't jump for it and stuff like that, because he just wants to operate by like the free throw line. I'm like, if you don't get your big athletic ass moving towards the rim, dude, I can't stand it. Ayton's a really good player. It's just like he doesn't help a player like Scoot at all, and the Trailblazers have done such a poor job of building around him. They have such a weird roster, and I don't know. I feel like this team is going to be really hard to watch this year. This team, it's going to be a race for the bottom between like them, Brooklyn, and Washington, man. It is going to be, but like at least like Brooklyn has like competent NBA players. Like I struggle to see that on the two other teams. So I don't know. Is what it is. The Denver Nuggets, I feel like that's going to fall into entertaining. And now, if you want to make the argument, Jokic is must-watch television, I would tend to agree with you. I personally am always going to side with like the super athletic dudes over the other dudes and like the crazy feats of like the physical body and everything. Yes, the just very entertaining, like solid play that the Denver Nuggets do is awesome, right? But if I'm choosing between like Denver and like Minnesota and New York, I'm gonna go to one of those two instead. But like I'm very curious to see how Christian Brown does this year. I'm big on the Julian Strother train. I think he's gonna be a nice player for them, and I've been saying it since last year. So I think I'm gonna be okay because I've liked what I've seen out of him in preseason so far. But like I really wish that who was the Deron Holmes would have been healthy for them. I really wanted to see him play, but I think they're going to be, again, really, really good this year, and I think they're going to be very entertaining, just going to be playing solid basketball every night. So, yeah, they're going to fall into entertaining. Oklahoma City, that feels like a must-watch kind of thing, right? I mean, they got like Caruso and Hartenstein on the team now, but like J-Dub and like all the other young dudes with Shea and stuff, that feels like it's got to be must-watch. You feel like you're starting to watch like a tiny dynasty build, and that feels very presumptive to say when they just haven't won anything at all yet. But man, it's such a good group. I really wish that they were starting like Isaiah Joe. I know if you guys watched like my preseason preview series, we did this whole little breakdown where we were like, oh, hey, this is why so-and-so should be starting, and Isaiah Joe was the person that I was talking about. I like the team plays like so much better, in particular Shea, when he's got Isaiah Joe on the court with him. So I wish they were doing that, but is what it is. I'll be curious to see if they go like 11 people deep this year again, but I don't know. I'm going to be curious to watch. It's a fun young team. The crowd is great. Love OKC. Next up, the Memphis Grizzlies. Man, I don't know. That's another one where like I'm concerned about the center. We've already got some injury problems and stuff. If everybody's healthy, I'm very, very curious. This feels like a solid watch type of thing. John Morant should be fun. Sometimes he does stupid things outside the arc or whatever, but man, when he gets a highlight and stuff, man, that is some fun stuff. I don't feel like John Morant's like the most fun to watch like progress through a game as much as like his highlights are really cool to consume via social media. But I like Desmond Bane a lot. I like how much he moves and the effort that he gives. Big fan of Gigi Jackson and Vince Williams. I like both of them a lot. I like Jaren Jackson. I hope he can kind of get back to being more of a lockdown defender as he's kind of gotten into some foul trouble recently. Curious about Zach Edey is how I would put it. He actually, and again, we'll talk about this in the video, like he was better than maybe I thought he was going to be horrible when he got switched out into perimeter guys. He wasn't like horrible. He was bad, but he wasn't as horrible as I thought he was. So that was encouraging. Again, it was like one game that I watched, but I'm a little bit worried about him like long term and stuff, but I think he'll be a solid player. So I'm going to put the Grizzlies into solid watch. That's where I feel like they're appropriate. Dallas Mavericks, that's must watch. I love Luka. I love Kyrie. They're awesome. I love watching the two centers, Derek Lively and Daniel Gafford, just run, jump, and dunk. And I love how awesome they feel about it. They're like, yeah, no, our job is to go do this, and we love it. All we have to do is dunk on people all the time. And you're like, yeah, that sounds awesome. Just catch alley-oops from those two all day. Go get some rebounds. Cool. That sounds awesome. Very excited to see Klay Thompson on the team. He can go off any night. I'd love to see some development in PJ Washington in the second year. I want him to turn into like a little Draymond Green type of dude, a little bit bigger than Draymond Green type of dude. But I love PJ. I like the bench that they've put together. Guys like Najee Marshall are fun. Jaden Hardy can get hot at any moment. So I like that group. They feel like must-watch television. The Spurs, also must-watch. It's Wemby. I need to watch every single game of Wemby. I need to. He's so fascinating to watch, everything that he can do. And they've got some more like solid NBA players last year. I will say there were points last year where I was annoyed watching the Spurs because they just wouldn't give him the ball enough. But Trey Jones was like the only one that figured out like, oh, if I just let Wemby touch it every possession, we play really good and we actually win basketball games. Now they're going to have more guys that kind of understand that concept and they can run a more NBA style like offense and stuff, and hopefully be a little bit better defensively at leading people to Wemby. So must watch television. The Phoenix Suns, if healthy, I want to put them in entertaining. Because at the end of the day, you have Kevin Durant, Bradley Beal, Devin Booker. just phenomenal basketball talents, right? Those are three of the best offensive players we've seen in a long time on one team. Any of those dudes can get you 50 on any single night. And when they played together last year, they were elite. I like that Tyus is on the team now. Nurkic was an awesome player for them last year. They've got an interesting little bench going on. It's not elite, but it's better than last year. So if healthy, they fall into entertaining, right? We never really saw them get like a true offense together. Like, I'd love to see some things where it's like Devin Booker with the ball, Bradley Beal comes and ghost screens, and then Kevin Durant comes and sets like another screen into like a pick and fade or something like that, and they're trying to navigate that. Or maybe they've got Devin Booker setting some pin down screens for Durant. He's rolling up. Tyus Jones is the one hitting between those two. Like, how do you decide like who to watch like in those actions? Like, me as a coach, I just have such a fun time with it. So I don't know. That's what I'm thinking. Moving on to the Clippers. Is Kawhi gonna play this year? I don't know. I don't know. James Harden, I'm not a huge fan of watching James Harden personally. I actually had a saying in coaching. I would tell people they got James Harden disease sometimes, and that's actually not probably what you think it is, where they just like handle the ball too much. It's actually when they don't have the ball and they just kind of float out on the perimeter and don't like go do anything else. But that's why I struggle to watch him sometimes. But there's some interesting players on this team. Like, I like watching Norman Powell. Kai Jones looks like he's starting to stabilize himself a little bit. Kevin Porter, if he's a stable person as well, could be cool. Derek Jones is fun to watch, right? Like, they've got some interesting dudes on the team. I don't think it's anything like that crazy though, so I think I'm going to put them in the it's basketball category. Like, if they're on, they're on. Like, the new stadium should be cool. I'd really like to go and see that. The Warriors. Ooh. The Warriors. Steph Curry alone makes them very, very fun. It also bums me out to see him playing with the people he's playing with right now. Like, it's just... It doesn't work very well. It doesn't work very well, and I don't think they're going to be that great this year. It's cool that they have Buddy Hield on the team. Like, Kyle Anderson's like a second little Draymond Green for them. I think they're really going to struggle at the center position. Pods is cool. Kuminga's. I struggle to watch Kuminga a little bit, in all honesty. Same with Moody at times. So I feel like they're going to fall into the it's basketball category. Well, no, they get solid watch because of Curry. Like, yes, I've seen Curry for a while, but he still amazes me every single time. So I hope the best for Curry. I just want better for him at the end of the day. The Detroit Pistons. Okay. They're not going to be an it's basketball team. I'm going to tell you right away, they're going to be a solid watch team. Here's why. I just have hope that, this is the best team they've kind of put around Cade. Don't get me wrong, I think they're still going to be bad, and it's concerning that they have gone through like 3 different starting lineups in like 3 preseason games already. I'm already like, okay, that's a little odd. They already like benched Fontecchio once, which I'm like, there's no way that's the solution. I'm telling you, it should be Cade, Malik Beasley, Fontecchio, Tobias, Duren. Like, that's who it should be. I just want to see Cade like really go out there and show everyone how good he is, because Cade Cunningham is an amazing basketball player that's been playing on nonsense teams. I love the energy that Ivy's playing with early on in the season. When Asar comes back, I love watching Asar Thompson play, so I feel like they're going to be a solid watch. They might not be good and they might make some dumb mistakes sometimes, but at least there's a little bit of spacing on the team now and stuff, and like Cade can maybe operate and show his stuff. I wish that he was a little bit quicker in his decision making, like in the sense where he's that big, because he's not going to wrap around screens super hard and like barrel towards the rim or anything like that. He's just too big to kind of do stuff like that. But I wish he was able to kind of be a little more decisive, but he's learning, right? He is still young. Going down to the Kings, I feel like the Kings are going to be an entertaining team. I feel like they're going to fall into entertaining. Like, they are probably my favorite team offensively to watch. I love the hub system that they run with Sabonis. I think it's cool. I've been curious how they were going to use DeRozan with it. He hasn't had the ball as much. He's really just been coming and getting handoffs from Sabonis early on in preseason and just chucking them right from there, which is like, okay, cool. Like, he'll make those shots. I mean, what did he went like 6 for 6 or something like that in his first game with the team, just going and doing stuff like that, and he had a couple tough shots as well. But like, I love watching Fox. I love Monk. Keon Ellis plays great defense. I love Keegan Murray. Like I said, I love Sabonis. I don't know. I think they've got a fun group of guys. Hopefully Herter is back to being a normal basketball player this year. But I don't know. I think it should be a fun team. I love the beam and everything, the energy the Sacramento Kings fans bring. So that's where I'll put them. The Cleveland Cavaliers. What do I want to do with the Cleveland Cavaliers? Like, Garland is cool, super shifty. I love Donovan Mitchell, love Mobley and Allen and stuff. But they don't do anything like that crazy on the court for me that's like very like differentiating from like other teams. So like, I feel like they fall into the solid watch because they have a lot of good players, but like I feel like they underperform a lot, and so I feel like solid watch is where they are. Like I'd rather watch them than like any of these teams here, and so that's why I feel like they belong here. Like a Cavs versus like Grizzlies game, that sounds like it could be cool to watch. So like if that was on like a Tuesday night, like I'm just working or something, like yeah, let me throw this on, see what happens. So yeah, I think that's fair. Boston Celtics. I'm gonna put them in entertaining. I'm not gonna call them must watch because they do take their foot off the gas sometimes, which is kind of like, whatever, you know, they are that good, that's fine, and they have a ton of really good basketball players that really know what they're doing. I love watching Drew, love watching Derek White, right? Like Tatum's amazing, love Brown. I like all these players, right? Like I'm a big Sam Hauser guy. I'm glad that they unlocked him and that he got his payday. I love the energy that Pritchard plays with. He really knows how to play in his role. They're just going to be solid. Them and the Nuggets are the same thing to me. Like they're just both going to play really solid basketball every night. They're winning teams. Like they know how to do it on both ends of the court. So I feel like that's appropriate. The Philadelphia 76ers. Paul George had a great first outing with them. I love watching Yabusele. Big Yabusele. I hope that he gets a role on this team. I haven't loved watching McCain so much early. The catch and shoot looks great. Very confident with that. Ball handling, I don't want him ball handling too much more, and that was kind of my fear with him. But and again, guys can grow into anything. We'll talk about rookies later in the week or whatever. But yeah, like I like Paul George. I like Maxey a lot. I'm not a huge fan of watching Embiid. It's cool when it's on, kind of thing. So that's why I kind of want to put him in solid watch, because we just haven't seen like Embiid really at all so far, and I don't know that I care to like watch him a ton. It's pretty much the same thing all the time. Watching big strong man go up and through people. Yeah, that's fine. All the free throws and everything gets a little boring eventually. I mean, it's smart. Like go ahead and do it. It's just I don't know. Ooh, the Hornets. What do I want to do with the Hornets? So it's kind of funny that these two teams are next to each other. If you guys have watched my channel for a while, I've always told you guys that the Hornets and the Wizards are the worst two franchises in the NBA. They just are. Everybody knows it. They're horribly mismanaged. But, Hornets fans, your team seems to be moving in a different direction. New ownership, new GMs, new coach. I really like your new coach, by the way. Very strong defensive-minded guy, very disciplined, and you got rid of some players, and I think you need to get rid of a couple more. I don't need to necessarily get into that, but try to just clean up the organization a little bit. LaMelo's super fun to watch. I like Brandon Miller a ton. I want to see the growth of Tajon Salon. He's been doing a couple interesting things early on in the preseason. If Mark Williams is healthy, I love him and LaMelo. Nick Richards is fun to me. I love Josh Green and the energy he plays with. That team's going to be entertaining. I like that team. I think they're going to be entertaining this season. So I'm going to put the Charlotte Hornets there. They could surprise some people and become a play-in team. I think they have to make the play-in this year. Like, they really should, and a lot of that health depends on LaMelo, right? Like, he's just got to stay healthy. I hope his ankles make it. The Wizards, what the hell are they doing, man? I was telling this to the people in the Discord the other day as well. I have a lot of buddies that are scouts in the league, right? Like people that I just met in my time. One of them sent me some clips from one of the Washington Wizards games early on in preseason. I was like, dude, what are they doing? I'm talking like 4, 5, 6 clips where I'm just like, bro, what are they doing right now? I'm glad they are. It seems like they've already abandoned the Valanciunas Sar lineup. That didn't make any sense. Brogdon being out early sucks so much for them. Jordan Poole should not be a point guard. Like, it doesn't look very good. Him and Kuzma are still, it seems like early on, just kind of doing their thing and putting shots up. Like watching Koulibaly, he plays smart. Sar's been solid to start. They don't seem like they have any idea of what to do with him. He's just kind of spotting up in the corner, which, like, fair, why not? I guess. Wizards, you better not ruin any more talents, man. Just please. Y'all traded Denny already. It's just, I don't know, man. They don't know what they're doing. That organization just bums me out. And so them in Portland this year, I just blah. The only difference between the Nets is like they at least have competent players like Schroeder, Cam Johnson, right? Nick Claxton, them dudes, Finney Smith that know what they're doing. Like, this team just looks like it's so mismanaged, and I feel bad. Orlando Magic, they've got some players I'm interested to see the development in for sure. They've got so many interesting, good young players. Obviously, they play really good defense. That's cool. I like watching defensive basketball. Not going to be a ton of like crazy stuff going on. I want to see Jet Howard do well this year. He's a big guy that I'm going to be watching. So I'm going to put them in solid watch. Not super entertaining every single night, but solid watch. Miami Heat. What do I think about the Miami Heat? I don't necessarily love watching like Tyler Hero play. Like when Jimmy's on, that's a lot of fun. They give a lot of effort. Terry Rozier's out there doing his thing. Bam's cool. They got some young players I like in Jaime and like Khalil Ware. Those are all cool dudes. I feel like they're gonna go in the it's basketball though. I feel like them and the Clippers are kind of similar boats to me. Like they're gonna have some very like they could be quality teams, but from a night to night basis, I don't think they're that fun to watch. So that's where I'm gonna put them. The Atlanta Hawks. Where do I think the Atlanta Hawks fall? I want to watch Reese Shea. I like Jalen Johnson a lot. Trey's fun to watch at the end of the day, even if I don't always agree with his play style. He is fun to watch, and like they've got other like good quality basketball players. The defense is pretty hard to watch most of the time, so I feel like they're going to be a solid watch. At the very least, I want to see Reese Shea play. And then the Indiana Pacers, they're going to fall into solid watch as well, just because they get up and down the court so much. I don't know if there's like a particular player I love watching on this team. Like Halliburton's cool, Siakam's really cool, like very fundamentally sound basketball players, not doing anything to like wow me, and like they're pretty poor on one side of the court, so that kind of takes away from it sometimes. But interesting, this did end up becoming more of a curve than I thought it would. So I guess there's a reason that exists in math, huh? The bell curve. Obviously, not too many teams like way at the bottom. A lot of teams here in the middle, but that's my opinion. I think these are my 5 teams that I'm really looking forward to watching this year. And yeah, I would agree that these are the teams I'm next most curious. I'm really sad that my Bulls are all the way down here, but that's how I feel about them, man. It just is. But hey, I'm curious to hear what you guys think down below. Come in the Discord, and if you want to make one of these and post this stuff in our basketball chat, go do it. Like, we'll react to it and stuff like that. I think it's a fun thing to do. But anyway, I'll get you guys with a video talking about rookies and everything, and we'll probably do like an early mock draft or something this week too. Just start talking about things during the preseason. But anyway, we'll talk to you guys later. Thanks so much. Bye.